Hello everyone. Okay, so this is a follow-up of a previous video we did, which was exploring the civilization generator in Warsim. We're going to do more of the same, and this time I'm going to track how many we're doing. We're going to try and do 10 lots, which should be 50 different civilizations. I have absolutely no idea what we're going to get. We could literally get anything out of 75 million plus possible races mixed with all kinds of different combinations and leaders and so forth. So it's very random, and I'm kind of excited to see what we get. Alright, let's start a new game. And we're going to go random races. Allow me to re-roll. And then we're not actually going to play the game. We're just going to look at these races. So this all is irrelevant. And now we're generating our first batch, as well as some other introductory stuff. Okay, so the first kingdom we've got is using a procedurally generated language, which is very strange. And they are strange volcanic mosquito men. So this is a strange group of part mosquito, part human folk that live alongside a volcano, and they're very weird. And they're called the Fuxaf, and they're led by King Gugahavaja. That's so weird. Okay, moving on from this giant group of strange volcanic people. We've got the colossal tropical windland, led by Captain Crag the Wastrel. And these are colossal tropical protofolk. So protofolk are cavemen, pre-men or pre-folk. So this is some tropical place filled with gigantic colossal cavemen. So basically weird tropical environment cave giants. Okay. Then we've got the Wine Duchy, led by Duke Klepper the Sinner, and their steel underpass elves. So these are elves made of steel. They occupy a single land, so some small underpass somewhere. It's very weird. And they call it a duchy. Then we've got the Vassos, led by King Farkas the Riddled. Vassos are a civilization of tall jungle men. And then finally we've got the Riva, led by Viceroy Ottolin the Reborn, and they are southwestern old men. There's an old civilization of men, some tall jungle people, a small underpass with some elves under it, a land filled with gigantic cavemen, that's tropical, and a weird group of volcanic mosquito people. So that is a very weird world. That is a very human-esque world as well. I mean, you've got elves, but other than that, it's... Oh, and the mosquito people, I guess. But otherwise, it's very human-esque people, although in weird ways. So that is very interesting, and that actually brings us to 5 races generated or civilization generated. Forgot to update that. So we'll move on now to the next lot. Let's generate another pack. Okay, so who have we got here? We have the Pacifist Ditch Confederacy, led by Commander Zelarok Longaxe. So these are Pacifist Ditch Half Demons. Wow, that is such a weird group. So there's a ditch somewhere, or a very, very large ditch apparently, because that's 10 lands. So this gigantic load of ditches filled with these pacifist demons. That's so weird. But they won't fight. They won't fight anyone, but they will defend themselves. So the pacifist effect actually in game means that this group will never ever be the attacker, which means they will probably be beaten out of existence. But they can still grow in population, so they can fortify their lands. And because they're not conquering, gaining more lands, they end up with really densely filled smaller lands. At least in the case of these half demons. So probably still going to be a reasonable group to fight, but they'll probably be beaten eventually. And then we've got the Spring Orangutan Folkland, led by Captain Gre. And these are a single territory filled with a bunch of orangutan people who live near a spring. Very interesting. Then we've got the Ivory Free Dynasties, led by Emperor Toldek, the duck-faced, fourth of his name. And this is a small civilization of scaly pyromancers. Very creepy. So these are fire magicians that specialize in... Oh no, they specialize in fire, even. Oh my god, what am I saying? And they have scaly skin. Then we got the Horned Autumn Lost Barony, led by Baron Pigskin, the Cloudborn. And this is a civilization of Horned Autumn Oromancers. That's a weird combination. So they're more powerful in the autumn. They have horns, and they have the power of detecting people's auras and sort of telling what people are intentions. Then we got the Earldom of the Warborn Warlocks, led by Earl Theric, the once famed. and they're warborn warlocks. So they've got a big territory. This was a reasonable number of them. So in this world, we've got demons that don't fight anyone and hide out in ditches, but there's a lot of them. So a spring surrounded by strange orangutan people. A group of scale-covered fire wizards. Horn-covered aura wizards who especially love the autumn, and a group of warborn warlocks. That is so weird. So it's an interesting world. Okay, let's generate another pack. Alright, so we've got another lot of races. Let's see what we're working with here. We've got the Draconian Kingdom, led by King Alarin the Reprobate, and they are Marauder Mermen. Well, that is not what Draconian meant, I thought. I assumed it was some kind of dragon people, but nope, I guess Draconian is in like old ways. So these are Marauder Mermen. Now the Marauder effect is really annoying if you spawn these guys in game, because they basically act like an additional 6th or 7th bandit group. They will raid you as well, and they'll take your gold just like other bandit groups do, unless you're on good terms with them, I believe. And these are mermen, so these are sea folk that steal stuff from you. Then we've got this Dawn city-state led by High Chief Gaia the Vault Robber. And these are 3 scions. So scions are sort of like old school magicians and mages and powerful magic users. So it's very strange. So this is a city-state filled with free and individualistic old school mages. Then we've got the Metal City. Sounds rad. Led by Mayor Donaldag, the Monster Seeker. That is an interesting name. And they are metal kobolds. So whether that means that they mix their skin with metal, whether they're wearing a lot of armor, whether they're literally made out of metal, like some kind of golem, who knows. Then we got the Savage Clanlands led by Great Chief Bzutz, the Forest, not of the Forest. Oh, excuse me. And they are lesser gremlins. I mean, gremlins are already pretty small to begin with, so lesser gremlins must mean they're even smaller and weaker. They've got a big population, probably because they're so weak. There's so many of them. So they might swarm you, but otherwise these guys are going to be very easy to kill, and they'll probably be beaten fairly quickly. And then we got Dark Hydromancers. They sound kind of weird. So this is the Blooded City, or the Bloodied City, led by Mayor Hafner the Weak-Minded. And these guys are water magicians who are, I guess, evil in nature. It's kind of creepy. Alright, let us generate another set of races. Okay, so we've got the Thoughtless Snow Kangaroodom with a weird space in between for some reason, led by King Gexjigaf. So basically how this works, by the way, in case anyone has or hasn't noticed yet. So Bloodlings, Trows, Dryads, like these races you can see in the 4 slots below, these are standard races. They follow a bunch of combinations being added onto sort of base races. However, the demi-kangaroos, they are what's called beast races. So essentially it's a combination of an animal with some kind of race qualifier, like are they half kangaroo people, are they kangaroo folk, are they kangaroo or were kangaroos, were they like, you know, like were bats, are they exo kangaroos, demi kangaroos, and so on and so forth. So there's lots of different types of beast race you can get as a result of that. And what happens is for beast races, they don't have any naming conventions. So obviously there are names for goblins, there are names for elves, there are names for humans and dwarves and so on. But there's not really a name for the different animal groups because there's hundreds of them, so I'd have to write a lot of different name files. So instead what the game does is it goes through the alphabet and it will pick a bunch of rules. It'll select a couple of different letters and then it will specifically generate the names and a language essentially for this race and a rule set for how it follows that based on the letters. So in this case, it's chosen at least the letters X, E, J, G, and F, maybe some more, I don't know. And you'll get some really weird names based around the language rules that are generated that are supposed to be, you know, these weird foreign languages you get in the game. And it's not perfect, but it's kind of a cool concept. It's nice to see it put in. So here we've got a completely random name, which is Xexkif. And that is the name of the leader of the Kangaroodom, Thoughtless Snow Kangaroodom. So that's very weird. So these demi kangaroos, they're like godlike kangaroos. and they don't have many thoughts, and they live in the snow. So that is a very weird combination. Then we've got the territory of Kopkek, led by High Warlord Vuk the Offended. And this is a very big land. Holy crap. They've got only 3 territories, but 2,391 people. That is a lot for only 3 territories. Significantly bigger than the Omega Invisible Bloodlings, with 8 lands. And they are green Trows. And Trows are already green, so yeah. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Normally, the green prefix would just make their skin green, no matter what they were. So if you have humans, they'd be green skinned if they were green men or whatever, or green elves and so on. Drows, I believe, are already green, unless I'm wrong. Oh no, are they blue? I can't remember. I think I might be telling some lies here. Well, okay, whatever. Then we got the barbaric folk state, led by General Thorold of the Slums, and they are barbaric folk. So this is essentially a group of barbarians. That's pretty cool. And then we got the Invisible Omega Kingdom, led by Eldon Roz the Hammered. Nice. So these are invisible Omega Bloodlings. So Bloodlings are blood-sucking goblin-type creatures. Omega versions of them are going to be significantly stronger. So these are pretty tough, bigger, wider goblins than normal, maybe human-sized. They're probably quite tough. And the fact they're invisible makes them even tougher. So these are invisible, giant, blood-sucking goblin things. Not a good thing to fight. And if they're invisible in game, you actually won't be able to see their faces unless you get specific magic to do so. And then we've got the communities of the Bog Dryads, led by Master Serlene's son. Okay, and these are Bog Dryads, so these are essentially just woodland spirits, I guess, that live in the swamp. Interesting. Let's generate another set. Alright, so we're on 25 now at the moment. So we're halfway there with these races. So this is the Towering Soul Empire, led by Emperor Ondeli, the Skull Laden. It's kind of a creepy name. And they're Scaly Ice Magi, or Magi, or Magi. I don't know how you'd say that really. So these are ice wizards that are covered in scales. A lot of scaly wizards we're getting in this lot. Then we've got the White Banded Mastodon, led by Grandmaster Moth the Defeated. And they're savage mermen. So it's an interesting group. And we got the Freehold, led by Jarl Asoth the Thrower, and they are free Terramancers. So these are people who transform the earth. And then we've got the Towering Land, led by Overseer Bubajabubub, and this is another one of these weird beast races. These are long-head, hive, shape-shifting flaming O's. Oh, flamingos! Flaming O's. Oh my god, flamingos. Okay, so these are weird shape-shifting flamingos that live in hives and have very, very long heads. Although, I mean, they kind of do already. And then we got another group. These are the Xugaf, led by King Shegma, the Armor-clad. And these are pale implings. So implings are kind of like goblins. They have a similar face. But these are pale, so they'll have white skin in-game. And there are a hell of a lot of them. But they have quite a few lands. Joint third place for lands out of this lot we've got here. 3,675. But implings are very weak, so pretty easy to kill. Alright, let's move on. Let's generate up to 30. Alright, we've got the Cutter's Domain, led by Captain Lofa, the Bane of Imps. And this is a group of earthen shroomlings. So, I mean, aren't they already earthen? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Then we've got the Unceasing Commonwealth, led by King Gore the Evil. So this is a civilization of mouthless fire harpies. Wow, it's quite a name. So harpies, they're like flying, I don't know, evil spirit things. And these guys have no mouths and I guess are on fire. Gore the Evil as well. Oof, they sound like a scary race. So fire, I believe, will give them red skin, and having the mouthless prefix will actually remove the layer of the face that contains their mouth. So they will look specifically like that. They probably look really unique. Oops. And let me just close that every time. Okay, and then we've got the Harmless Tribe, led by High Chief Gunmuruk, the Bane of Ogres. So these are harmless minotaurs. So that's kind of interesting. These guys are going to be much weaker than standard Minotaurs, and they're probably not going to be getting involved in many fights. But I don't believe it makes them pacifist. I think they still will attack, but should significantly buff them down. So, and they've got not that many men, really, considering how many lands they've got. Only 406 to 7 lands. So they're probably pretty killable. That's an interesting race. And Minotaurs are usually quite a strong group by default. Then we've got the Lost Communities led by Master Shrock, the Golden Master. Shrock. And then these are a civilization of Tundra Ogres, so pretty basic. They're ogres that live in the tundra. Then we've got the Black Banner Territory led by High Warlord Crow, the Lion Claw. And these are Tideland Hydromancers. So these are water wizards that hide in low tide, I guess. Or the lands near the tide. Makes sense. That's the first time it's ever worked. Alright, let's generate another set. So, 35 races now, I guess. So we're getting close to the end, to be honest. We've got another 15 left, I think. So the Consortium of the Horned Fungus Elders, led by King Axro Bloody Fists. 658 total population, and they are Horned Fungus Elders. So these are, I mean, are they fungus people? Are they living fungus? Are they old people who have fungus growing on them and horns? It's hard to say. Could be any of those things. Then we got the Silver Old Land, led by Overseer Bay the Scarf, and they are Stoneland Dryads. Interesting. So sort of nature spirits that live among the stones. Then we got the Kagaz, led by King Remdok the Warty, and they are Warped Sea Snotlings. So these are basically like tiny little goblin-like creatures, but they come from the sea, so probably have blue skin, and they're warped, which kind of means they're really evil. So there's like a creepy race of these little sea goblin things in this world. And then we've got another one of these crazy custom language races. So these are the Knight Demi-Piranhas Confederacy. Piranhas even. Pirata. Okay. Led by Commander Bubba Vajja. How could I say that faster? Bubba. Okay, I'm not going to say that. It's very difficult. There's 68 of them. They got 4 lands. These Knight Demi-Piranhas. And then we got the square-bannered Lost Chieftain, led by High Chief Clobber, the Sand High Chief. And they are Solar Terramancers. So that's an interesting combo. Alright, let's move on to the next lot. I also feel bad. Every time I do this, like, all of these races will never be seen ever again. Like, that's something that I can't nail home enough. Like, this game is really unique in its race generation, in that these are all unique to the game. They will all have very specific effects in-game. They'll look differently. They'll act differently. And every time I press generate a new set of races, these are essentially gone forever. They're basically never going to be seen in anyone else's game. It's a slim chance. So, yeah, I don't know. Rest in peace to all of these guys. Alright, we're on 40 races now. And who have we got here? So, we've got the Plains Exarchate, led by Exarch Zolaral the Bloodskuld, and these are Plains half-demons. So they're half-demonic creatures that live among plains. And then we've got the Well-Endowed Blood Clan, led by Blood Chief Elgrim the Frog-Legged, and they're Feral Hill Sorcerers. Wow, that's an interesting group. So these are a group of feral magicians that live among the hills, whether they live separately or in communities. Wow, that's kind of creepy. Then we got the Wandering Space Bloodbrokey. So the Welgon, led by King Grickrick of the River. So this is a group of strange creatures that have come from space, essentially, and they wander around. So I guess they're foreign space explorers. Then we got the Hallowed Communities, led by Master Tagix the Slumbering, and this is a civilization of Hell Goblins. So they sound kind of interesting. They're going to be red-skinned, they're going to be a lot tougher. And there's actually quite a lot of them, considering how many lands they've got, so they're going to be a little bit of a problem in the game. We got the Magic Kingdom. I like it. Basic. Led by King Lancel the Acolyte. And they're magic harpies. That really works out quite well, because an acolyte is often related to sort of mages and stuff in games. Position of learning. And they're magic harpies. Okay. Well, that's cool. So it's another interesting group, another interesting lot. And something I don't think I've pointed out before, actually, as well, but I might make a note of here. For anyone who's interested, the way that the kingdoms are generated, there's many kingdom types in game that can be selected, and based on what kingdom type you have, you get a leader type that can be associated with that. So we've got a blood clan here. A blood clan will then be given a blood chief. We've got an exarchate, and they'll be given an exarch. There's a king, and in this case, it's a kingdom, but it's not really got a name. Kingdom communities. This one's led by a master. Another kingdom led by a king, and so on. And if you pay attention to this video and you check it out in game, you'll see there's an awful lot of these. I did a ton of research into all the different kinds of I don't know, territories, lands, any kind of thing like that historically, and tried to put in as many as possible. Possibly made up some, I don't even know. But there's a lot of possible combinations, which again makes all of these different kingdoms slightly different, and it does affect how they are. So, for example, really civilized people will not be, clans and tribes. They're going to be kingdoms and exarchates and stuff like that. So you'll only find them for less savage groups, whereas the savage communities are more likely to be like that. So, for example, these feral hill sorcerers are in a blood clan because they're feral. They don't have very high civilization. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move on and generate another batch of races. All right, so we've got one more after this, and then we are done. So no more genocide of these randomly generated races being thrown to never be seen again. We've got the Nemedic, led by King Snuds, Greenblade, and they are vile mist gremlins. So there's a land somewhere, or 3 lands, filled with these strange and vile gremlins that hide among the mist. Then we've got the fabled Imamet, led by Imam Gir, and that's quite a good name as well to come out of the random name generator. And this is a civilization of magic Arctic koalalings. So these are kind of like koala-ish humanoids that live in an Arctic environment, weirdly, like koalas. Like, that's kind of strange. And they are magic, so I guess it doesn't have to make any sense. And we've got 2 Imamets. That's really weird. We've got the light Imamet, led by Imam Tamarik's Bloodfist. And this is so both of the Imamets are magic as well. That's really curious. Civilization of magic canyon dryads. So spirits that live in a canyon and have magic. Then we've got the feral magma whale llamas tribe, led by High Chief Jivajivab. And these are a civilization of feral magma whale llamas. So yeah, they turn into llamas at full moon, I guess. And I don't know, maybe they're made of magma. Who knows? It's an interesting one. But they're feral, just like those wizards from before. Then we got the permanent domain, led by King Moth the Sinner. They've got elite total population, and they are horned people. So just average men, except they got horns in their head. That's kind of interesting. Maybe they're demons. Who knows? And let us generate our final set. This is the last race group that we're going to see in game. Alright, so we've got the Noble Communes, led by leader Khan the Infuriated. There are 798 of them, and they are seafaring aeromancers. So they sail along the sea and cast air-related magic. Maybe into their sails. Maybe that's how they sail around. Maybe they're like super good at sailing because they can do air magic. I mean, it's quite a good combination. I really thought about that before. And they're communes. So, yeah, I guess they could be nomadic. Although they've got 7 lands. Then we've got the Skinned Lesser Mermen Fiefdom, led by King Theric the Fragile. So this is Skinned Lesser Mermen. So they've got weird skin, and they are lesser, so they're smaller than average mermen. This is kind of a weird, weak alt race of mermen, essentially. Then we've got the childlike Eastern Theocracy, led by High Priest Arkan, the Acolyte. And this is a civilization of childlike Oromancers. Okay, so childlike means that they'll actually have like shorter faces, just sort of look like children, and they're Oromancers, so they can sort of detect your intention, I guess. They can tell if you're good or evil and stuff like that, and can read the auras of the people who they speak to. So this is a strange group of priesty, weird, childlike magicians. It's a very strange group. Then we got the Skulk, led by King Skulk of the Hood, and they are 3-eyed Skiroks. So Skiroks are these kind of like rat, lizardy based creatures, and apparently have 3 eyes. Then we got the Hallowed Province, led by King Eric the Disowned. This is the last group, And these are aquatic battlemen. So this is a group of warrior men, or a kingdom of warrior people, and they're especially good, or are straight up aquatic. I don't know. Maybe they're really good at fighting in water. Maybe I mean I guess you're in a world filled with weird mermen and seafaring aeromancers, so you got to be good at fighting in the water. But that's all just coincidental. So those are the races of our world. We generated 50, unless I've somehow messed it up and it's become 55 or 45. We should have seen 50 different civilizations, and all of them are completely random. It's quite unlikely that any of these will be seen again, but you might see the odd one or two if you're extremely lucky. You can custom generate some of these yourself in the game, so it is possible to repeat or recreate some of these ones if you like them. And yeah, I mean, that's a little delve again into the procedural civilization generator in the game, showing off, I guess, a bunch of the different stuff that's possible. There's tons of things that can be done. I'm always willing to take suggestions on new different prefixes and race types and stuff. We've got a massive list, backlog of things to look through, and currently there are 75 million plus different races, but you never know, that's probably going to hit 100 mil someday. So thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any suggestions, if you like the video, any comments, let me know. The game itself is Warsim, the Realm of Aslona. Don't judge the game by this video, though, because this is literally just like an introduction menu, just showing off the generator, and it's purely just the text of the game. There's a lot more to it than this. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.